Okay, we're going to be reviewing Advanced, who is going to be playing Sigma on Esperanca. This is Platinum 3. I think it's on PC. You might find it kind of interesting that we are currently not in a replay, which is intentional, because there's a concept. I actually pre-watched it already. I'm going to explain a concept in the training range before we jump into the game. But first, I'm going to read off their text. Plat 3 tank VOD review. A $20 bounty to whomever helps. I don't understand what I'm doing wrong on push maps. There has to be something I'm doing wrong because I did a decent amount of damage, but didn't translate into a win. Obvious mechanical bad habits I can improve on. Ulti usage, however, there's a bit more nuance. I feel like it's almost intuitive when to use ulti. I think you may mean unintuitive. When do I try to turn fight around versus when do I save it for next fight? I still have a bad habit of using orb versus beams slash May. I'm trying to reduce this. What I'm most curious about, I'm interested in, for someone to critique my positioning in this game. How was I positioning between fights? Was I going to the right spots? Also, I'm confused on who to rock in each fight. What's the standard? Do I go for the tank? Who's killing my DPS support? Do I take the easy one shot on the DPS support? What to do when both are available? Again, this seems very nuanced, so maybe an experienced player can shed light. Right at the beginning of the game, which direction should I go? Should I go left or right? I went right, but I'm thinking matching the right might have been better. Not sure. When you're the only one alive after a team fight, do you just suicide yourself to die of the team, or do you try to escape? Maybe you try to escape if you have greater than 75% chance of living. I have so many questions, it's not even funny. I feel like I know nothing about the game. This is totally normal, by the way. This game is very complicated and there's a lot going on. I took Adder's advice from this other VOD that I gave them, as well as the other helpful comments, and probably won like 15 in a row. Wow. Climbed from Gold 1 to Plat 3. I already bought coffee for him because his content's amazing, etc. And we'll be willing to up the bounty to $20 for any coaching advice from GM5 plus tanks, which I qualify as. I would also say that you don't necessarily need coaching from GM5 plus tanks. Teaching and being good at the game are not necessarily the same. Like, a lot of people understand the game well and don't necessarily play at the higher levels because they don't invest enough time or they don't have mechanical skill or whatever it is. Especially when you're in plat, I would chill on like the elitism. Like, you definitely can get great advice from even like platinum or diamond level players. Like, you don't have to be like, I need advice from the very top. That's not necessary. In the same way that if you're trying to get better at like basketball, you don't need the best NBA player in the world to teach you how to get better at basketball. In fact, they might be a bad teacher of basketball because they're so far away from your level. Anyway, let's talk about this. So, number one is your problem is not push maps. Your problem is not push maps, right? So forget push maps. It has nothing to do with push maps. Your core problem is you are not playing well to your range, and in particular, you're not playing the Sigma Rein matchup well. So right now I'm playing as Rein, okay? And I'm fighting against a Sigma, and let's just think logically, where do I want to be as Rein? Okay, understanding like Sigma's like obviously there's a lot else going on, the map, compositions, whatever. But let's say we're full health, start of a fight. Where do I want to be as Rein? Do I want to be here? Do I want to be over here? Okay, do I want to be here? Or do I want to be here? I would say I want to be right here, right? Because right here, I can get my hammer swings in, right? Fire strike, kill him. I don't want to be anywhere that's not in melee range, correct? I don't want to be here, because here I can't hit him. And maybe I could fire strike him, right? But it's like kind of tough to do at that distance. I wouldn't say so tough, but like, maybe 60% or so. And when I go even farther, now the odds of me hitting a fire strike are only maybe, I don't know, 35%, depending on how good he is at dodging and how good I am at predicting. Okay? I think it's very obvious that as Rein, I want to be right here, right? Melee range with the Sigma. So, let's flip this around. Do a little switch. And I'm going to go Sigma. Now, as Sigma, where do I want to be when I fight the Rein? Do I want to be right here? 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 Or do I want to be right here? Well, it's the inverse of the previous situation, right? Obviously, if it's good for Rein to be close to Sigma, I do not want to be here because he can hit me. And I can hit him, but he's very, very durable. He's significantly more durable. He's like 50% more durable than I am. Okay, he also has Fire Strike, which gives him a great burst. And if I try to rock, he can shield that and block the rock really easily. So I don't want to be close to him. I want to be as far away as I can that I can still direct him. So for example, right here, I'm still directing. Okay, so this is going to be this is going to be 110 damage, right? So, but if I'm too far away, now I'm only getting the splash. This is still directing. Yeah, it goes pretty far. It's like 22 meters, I think it is. It goes a lot farther than you would imagine. So yeah, now I'm finally at the distance where I'm splashing him. So you see it's not doing nearly as much damage. I'm splashing now, which only does 40 per hit instead of 55 as a direct. Versus when I'm directing, I get these nice juicy shots, right? If I step a little farther back, now it's still there. Now it's popping in front of his face, and I'm only getting the splash. This probably seems so obvious, and yet I see Sigmas do this all the time, where against Reinhardt, right, or other close range heroes, they try to get closer and closer and closer. If you can keep the Rein at this distance the entire game, I guarantee you will win. Like 99% sure you will win if the Rein never gets closer to you. The way that you lose the game is that you let the Rein get close to you, because then he can hit you. Right? The whole point of Sigma is to hold them really, really far away and attack from the maximum possible distance to force him to have to come at you. And he's going to shield, obviously. And you work down the shield. And when he keeps coming, you keep kiting, and you keep kiting, and you keep kiting, and the shield breaks, and then he dies. Or covers, right? Which is kind of the same thing. And then you push him when his shield is down. Okay, so from that, let's jump into the actual game. Okay. So at the very start, when your first question says you should go left or right, you should always go right. That is the default rule. You should take this high ground on the right. If they go to the left of the robot, this is something that really only happens in like the lower level ranks. That's fine, right? Just stay here, okay? Stay here, attack their backline. If the backline continues wrapping this way, that's fine. Then rotate back here and hold this side. The whole point is that if you have bridge and this like elevated platform, let's call this like, I don't know, terrace. If you have terrace and you have bridge, then it's really, really hard for them to push into you, because you can always kite up this way, right? You can continue to have multiple angles attacking their backline, and it's really, really hard for them to move up, right? Only when the map first released and people didn't understand it did people go this way towards the robot. Pretty much always, at higher levels, you'll always see players go to the right, and they'll challenge for right space control first. So your goal should be to go to the right. However, I think it's okay to double back if you realize your team is slow for whatever reason. But in this situation, the correct move is to go to the right. So, but once you go to the right, hey, there's nobody here. Now you got to make a call, right? Because both teams are playing unusually, or at least their team's playing very unusually. They all decided to hard commit to go to the right. You're obviously going to waste your time just kind of going this way. So I think it is correct move to now play left side, right? So you can say left side here. This is fine. Now, your whole perspective here is you're not going to kill the Rein quickly. Sigma is just not a fast hero. If you want things to happen quickly, do not play Sigma, right? Sigma is not, I'm going to win this fight in 5 seconds. Sigma's like, I'm going to win this fight in 20 seconds. Okay? And I'm going to make it impossible for you to win, to lose until that 20 seconds is up. Sigma works down the enemy team slowly. Right? That is the entire nature of the way the hero is designed. Okay? He is not bursty at all. He has zero mobility. The whole point to him is work them down, work them down, work them down. Constantly working them down. It's a game of attrition. That is how you win. So my perspective here is, hey, this Rein's going to have full shield. He's not going to die quickly. I'm just going to start attacking, right? Attack, attack, attack. And then when he pushes into me, I'm just going to keep kiting him and keep attacking him. If he chases me this way, I'm going to go up the stairs and keep chasing. And maybe he'll still keep chasing me. That's fine. His entire backline will be exposed while that happens. The only real way, I mean, if I had to retreat this way, I can. I would prefer not to do that, but retreating this way is better. But the only way that I lose here is, as I mentioned in the training range, which is if he walks into my face, I lose the fight. That is the only situation where I will lose here. Other than that, I'm good to go. So you come back here. I mean, this is still okay, right? If you want to wrap this way, this is still fine. You're kind of relying on your team to stay alive a little bit, but that's okay. So you throw that shield first, and this is where you're already starting to make a mistake. As Sigma, don't play tight to corners. Tight to corners means close to the corner, right? Wide of the corner, or far from the corner, is playing over here. You know there's a Rein here, right? You saw him, you heard him, you can hear him right now, you can hear him walking towards you. Don't do this. As you start walking up, you're quite lucky to hit the Rein. You clearly weren't aiming for him. And then he's going to get close to you, and now you're in trouble. And you see that you've already had to force grasp out very early because you're out of position. This should never have happened. All you had to do was just play this longer angle, right? Put shield down, spam the Mercy, spam the Pharah, spam the Moira, whatever you got. Don't do this. Don't be pushing into them. That's just not the type of hero you are. Like you push W way too much as Sigma. Way too much, okay? As long as you're hitting people, you're good as Sigma. As a general rule, as long as you're hitting people, you're good. Just keep hitting them. You don't need to try to rush the fight unless there's some other factor that's going to cause you to lose the fight if it goes on longer. Okay? So in general, this all was a mistake. Okay? You get injured here, you have the pop grasp, right? You get nervous, and then now you're in a fight with Reaper at close range, which you never wanted to be in. Your Tracer does trade with the Mercy though, which is good. So, you put the shield down, you start bubble dancing, which is good, right? Reaper obviously having trouble here. So, he wraiths, And I can tell from your inexperience in the game, you pop rock way too early, way too early. He still has like 2 more seconds on this, or I would say about a second and a half. See, like it's not even close. And you get lit here. Once he wraiths, like I look, I'm like, look, I probably am not gonna do anything. This Pharah is shooting me right now. You're getting hit constantly and just not paying attention to the Pharah. You see how low she is? You should kill the Pharah, right? Just one, double direct here would have killed the Pharah. Anne has to come over to save you. You're still ignoring the Pharah, for the record. Like, at no point in time have you even looked up at the fact that the Pharah is shooting at you. Like, you don't even seem to be aware there is a Pharah shooting at you who is easily killable at this moment in time. Anyway, so, by the way, you've already made so many mistakes, I would expect you to lose the fight by now. You try to regroup, you're still ignoring the Pharah, who's constantly dumping damage into you. Your Anna's doing her best to try to keep you alive. And once again, we see you're playing this close corner for no reason. You see how you're playing tight to this? There is no reason for this. And now you're so close that the Reaper gets straight into you really, really quickly, which forces you to basically almost break your shield, and then you get low right now. Now you're forced to grasp early, and when you're grasping is bad. Like, you want to avoid grasping if at all possible. Grasping means you're not damaging. If you're not damaging, that means you're not wearing them down. If you're not wearing them down, it means you're going to lose the fight. So you should not be like, oh, great, I use grasp, get value. No. You should be like, I do not want to grasp, but I absolutely have to grasp. You hit the Reaper, tough one shot right there because of the situation, because this direction, and then you're going to die. And again, you're dying because you're letting enemies get close to you. It's really that simple. Like, there's nothing to do with the push map. It's nothing to do with the direction you go. Like, don't let enemies, dangerous close-range enemies, get close to you, right? Don't let the Reins, the Roadhogs, the Reapers, the Orisas of the world, do not let them get close to you, and you will win games. You will win way more games. Just don't let them get close to you. You're going to come out this way, which is typically a mistake. The next fight should happen over here, but because your team is playing in a wild different location, I guess this is fine. But the next fight should happen at the Mega Room. So you're going to come down here. So don't throw shield out early. That's another thing. It's like, don't throw shield unless you need shield, right? Do you need shield against a 1 Kiriko? You don't, right? She only does 40 damage per kunai. She does 120 in a headshot. You have your supports with you. There's 0 chance you're going to die here, right? 0 chance. Don't even worry about it, right? Don't waste, like, cycles, like APM, using shields that don't do anything. Again, another example where you do not need the shield. Don't throw the shield up, because you never know when you might need all 700 health of that shield, so don't just throw the shield right now. This Reaper does no meaningful damage to you right now. Like, he only did 40 damage to that shield for perspective, which he cannot miss. This is a great example of how you're playing too close. Where do I want to be against Reaper? Do I want to be here, or do I want to be here? I want to be here. I like, literally do not, like, you don't do more damage at close range other than the fact your accuracy gets better, okay? You don't need to be doing this. Like, your team does not want you to go up here and melee this Reaper. If I'm the Ashe, I'm like, literally just keep the Reaper away from me and I will kill him. That should be your perspective right now. So he's going to get hacked for the Sombra in the back. You're going to be messing around right now. So you attack. When did you throw rock? Oh, yeah. I do not spam rocks. I don't throw rocks unless it's one. You asked a question about when to use rocks. Don't throw rocks unless one, it's used to create space, right? So for example, the Rein's walking into me or my team, I need to knock him away. 1. 2, use it to interrupt abilities, like Mortar Coalescence, Reaper ulti, for example, right? 3, use it to confirm a kill, right? So now that the one shot's been removed, they have to be 190 health, or I have teammates who can help. Rock, and then the double Hypersphere, that's 190 damage. I can either melee or somebody else can do damage, and then that's a kill. Okay? Obviously, if they're like 100 health, I can just rock them and they'll just die right away. But that's the general perspective here, is don't spam rocks. Rocks is a really long cooldown. As you get higher in ranks, enemies will play very differently whether or not you have rock available or not. As Reaper in this situation, I would chill. I would just kind of poke you. I would stay behind the cart, like should go peek you. The second I see you throw a rock, I'm killing you. There's nothing you can do to stop me at that point. I'm gonna run right through you, right? I'm gonna force grasp, then I'm going to just like wait, right? And just chill. I'll fade or Wraith Form if I have to, then I'll come out fade and I'll kill you. There's nothing you can do to stop me at that point. Right? Rock is the only tool you have to protect yourself from the Reaper. This is a great example. We're having rock right now to cancel Coalescence would be fight winning. Okay. As another rule, when you do throw rocks at enemies, generally do not throw it if they have their defensive cooldowns. At higher ranks, nobody will ever die. Ever die if they have defensive cooldowns. No one will die if they have Fade. No one will die if they have Suzu. No one will die if they have Swift Step. No one will die if they have Guardian Angel. No one will die if they have Mei Ice Block, right? It just will not happen. So you might as well get used to this habit. If you have not seen the Kiriko use Suzu or Swift Step, assume she has both. So do not rock in this situation, because rock is a very slow, telegraphed like ability. She has plenty of time to Suzu and get out of this. Like Helix Rocket, sure, that's fine. Like she'll instantly die. But this situation, she had so much time to get out, which which he does, and then you waste your rock. You could just attack her, right? One more attack would have killed her here as well. See? She has at 100 health, I think? Yeah, 90 health. So just double direct here would have killed her. So you don't need to rock here at all. Rocking here is a waste. Huge waste. Right, now Reaper's here. Man, rock would be super helpful now, wouldn't it? Right? Actually, you just attack him first, but then right now, rock would be very helpful. Rock right now, right? Plus your damage, plus any help from like the Tracer or whatever, kills the Reaper instantly. And this is another good example where, why are you playing so close to this Reaper? Like, you playing point blank, Reaper does like 120 damage a shot, not including headshots, right? So he's chunking you really, really hard here. You should have been bubble dancing your shield right now and using rock potentially to get him off of you. And or, once you got super low, using grasp. So you did basically all the things wrong. You don't have rock, you didn't grasp, right? You didn't bubble dance, or shield dance. All the things have gone wrong here, which is why you die. But this is a pretty straightforward fight to win. I think that if I were playing this, the chance of me dying here is like less than 10%. It's a very straightforward fight win from this point in time. Just play bubble, right? You got Tracer, you have Mercy here, you had all the cooldowns, you had full health. There's no reason to be losing this fight. Alright, so you're gonna come out again. You hear the Reaper to the left. So yeah, I would have been looking for it because you heard it, right? So again, I would not rock there right away. I think it's a huge mistake that he does not wraith here, because he easily should have wraithed. Like, this is not going to happen at higher ranks. I'm going to warn you. You're going to need to attack him again and then throw the rock, which you have plenty of time, right? You have 400 health. It's not like he's going to instantly kill you. I would attack him again, force wraith, then chase and kill him. But you get the kill. Fine, we'll take it. So thinking about it right now, this is going to be a. You always need to know numbers, right? Always need to know numbers. How many people do I have? How many teammates do I have in this fight? How many enemies are in this fight? So this is currently a 2-on-3 plus Sombra, which you wouldn't know where she is, so 2-on-4. And how I would know this is I would be tracking the kill feed and I'd be looking at the scoreboard constantly, so I would know exactly how many players there are. I probably would not be pushing right now because I would not expect to be winning this fight. This is not likely to go well for me, but no one here seems to be doing anything correctly on their team, so maybe you will end up winning this, yeah. So again, throwing a shield at Rein does not do anything. Sombra shows up late. Fine. Alright. So, going for the Reaper, this attacking is wild. Look, what is this? No one's even on your screen. Alright, you panic grasp even though you didn't need to. You could have just attacked right there. You had 400 health, right? Just shoot right now. Just shoot. At this distance, so Reaper, for perspective, here, he's going to do like 180 plus damage per second. Where you're standing right now, he's only going to do about 50 damage per second. The drop-off in damage for Reaper is massive. So you can safely attack from this distance and not have to worry about it at all. You need to stop like jumping when you get through and throwing off your own aim, right? You see how you jump through, it throws off your own aim. It's more important for tanks, it's more important for you to land hits than it is for you to dodge, which is often different than it is for DPS or supports, right? Especially for supports, usually staying alive is more important than killing. For tanks, it's almost always more important to land your shots, even if it means you take more damage. Tanks typically have very slow, like ponderous attacks. And you have a lot of health, so you don't need to worry about trading negatively, right? Like, it's okay for me to take 100 damage or it's okay for me to take 200 damage if I deal 100 damage out to a DPS. Because at that rate, I will take 400 damage and then they'll be dead, right? That's like the luxury of playing tank, is that you have the extra health, the extra resources to play like that. You do not need to trade positively against DPS to win, and unless they're really messing up, you almost never will. So, hack happens. So, first of all, let's think about this, okay? Rein's here. Why are you walking forwards? This is not the time to be walking forwards. Okay, you see the Rein here. Again, you're already in range to direct him. There's a Sombra right next to you. Why are you still walking forwards? Why are you still walking forward? You see, like, you get all the way over here, like, maybe this is not such a good idea. Like, you saw the Rein there, which again, play at max distance, right? You saw the Sombra next to you, who you should just attacked, and you know that there's enemies over here. For some reason, you decide to keep walking up, right? You're very lucky that he dies here. You missed that rock, hits the wall. And rock is a huge hitbox, so that happens all the time. And then there's gonna be some cleanup here. Whatever, that's fine. So, Sombra's here. You throw the shield way too late, so she farms basically 200 damage of ult charge on you, right? So look at her, she's 18% right now. So you just gave her 14% ult charge. And you could have stopped that right away by just throwing shield out. Just throw, well, I mean, you could have stayed back first, right? And then as soon as your hack went up, then throw shield. And she would have gotten half as much ult charge, if that. You'd be very careful about feeding ult charge away. It's kind of like an advanced concept, but something you need to think about. So, in this situation, this is a tricky flux. I don't think I'd want a flux here. The reason being is Bob is already out, and I already have high ground advantage. Okay? This is also, I believe, a 5-on-4. It is a 5-on-4, yes. Sombra is somewhere, right? She's like coming back to the fight. But it feels like a 5-on-4. Wraith is already forced. I think we're going to win this fight right now, and we have high ground advantage, right? And we have angles, right? We have this arc, so they're like walking into all of us. I'm not popping ult here. I'm trying to save ult and then popping it later in the fight if I think I need it. So you only end up lifting the Rein. You end up attacking the Reaper. I think that's fine, right? The problem is that when you don't have Rock, it makes the Rein like pretty difficult. Now you don't have Rock to deal with Moira. But I think this is okay because the Reaper's really low here and really could have died. I think this is an okay Rock. Again, you see how you're constantly moving forward. This is why, like, if you want to do this, just play a melee or just like play Rein. Like your style is so similar to Rein's than it is to Sigma because you're constantly trying to get really close to the enemy for no reason, or Risa even. And Risa gives you a lot more of the utility than you might like from Sigma. So everything here is a mess. Quite frankly, nobody here knows how to play the game. Like, it's like hard for you even to narrate here, but like you're just cleaning up. There's a lot of like micro mistakes that are happening here, but I'm not gonna worry about it. So you rock the Rein again. Think about it. Do you want to be here? No. You want to be here, right? You want to be this far away, like roughly here. This is about 22 meters. Spamming the Rein. Why are you letting the Rein close the distance on you? Just keep. See, like right there. Why do you walk back up? Again, the fight will not be won until I break the Rein shield. Your perspective should be, I cannot win, unless the enemy team makes a mistake and exposes their backline to me, I cannot win the fight until I break the Rein shield. Your goal should be break the Rein shield as fast as you possibly can without the Rein killing you first. Why are you walking forwards right now? You do not do more damage the closer you get to shields. You have no fall-off damage on hyperspheres, so just play the max distance here. So you get close. Right? You're lucky that Lucio actually bails you out right now because Lucio saves you from getting hit by this by booping him back. And for the record, once Rein's hitting you, he will never stop hitting you because moving backwards reduces your move speed by 10%. So, and all heroes have the same base move speed except for Genji and Tracer. So, unless either one of you has mobility, right, or you have mobility specifically, once he starts hitting you, he will always be in range of you. You literally cannot escape from him. Right? As long as he wants to stay in range of you, you cannot escape. So once he's in melee range, you're screwed. Like, you can't then be like, oh, what do I do now? I mean, unless you rock, right? But other than that, like, you have no other options. So Lucio saves you with that boop, and you notice that you immediately are going to walk back in, and you're jumping too, which is a terrible habit. So you jump in here, you kill the Sombra completely accidentally. There's no way you deserve this kill. You grasp here, kind of lucky. I don't think you meant to grasp the Fire Strike, is my guess. I think that you are actually just panicking right now and just grasping to grasp because that's what we saw in the previous game. I really don't think that because you start grasping before you even starts the animation, right? Yeah, I cannot imagine. It's like the frame perfect. There's no way that you reactively did this to his Fire Strike. You were just full on panicking and grasping there. Lucio's going to save you again with Sound Barrier, right? Your Lucio did a great job trying to cover up for your mistakes. So in this situation, this is a rare situation where I think that it's okay to let the Rein go by because your whole team's going to be safe for the next 5 seconds while Sound Barrier's up. So at this point, kill the supports. Now you should let the Rein go by. It's fine. Forget him. Now forget him. Go up close to supports. Start confirming kills. Right now, your team needs to get kills and not to zone the Rein, which is where typically your team needs to just zone the Rein. And of course, you don't go for that. You try to stop the Rein, even though the Rein's already... Once he's past you, like, there's nothing you can do about him. Like, once he's here, like, there's nothing you can do. He's full health. The supports are still here. Kitsune rushes up. Just try to kill supports. There's zero chance you're going to kill the Rein right now. You get shattered. This fight's effectively over. Yeah. You're going to come out here. Again, we're going to see, hey, don't play tight to corners as Sigma. Play wide corners. Play wide. It's against Rein, right? Specifically, we're talking about against the Rein matchup. But play distance, right? Stay away from him. You know, you're closing the gap with him. This is kind of fine, though, because your team's, like, rolling them anyway. Like, once you start rolling them, then you can walk forward. It doesn't matter. Nothing you do is going to matter at that point. You just want to kill them quickly. But as a general, like, neutral, even fight situation, just play distance. So some confusing things are going to be happening right here. You go high ground, which is not really your job. This is where DPS would play. You should just play main. Okay, you're not an off-angle flanker tank. Okay, you're not good at the off angle in this context. It's tricky because Sigma used to be a great off angler, but in this situation, I would just stay with the cart and start moving up main. And for example, clearing out this Mei is your job, right? You need to be clearing out this Mei, then you need to be clearing out that Moira, then you need to be zoning this Rein. Those are your jobs. Not attacking this Brig, which I'm sure you can tell is giving you zero value. And you see how their team just runs over yours because you're simply not there to do anything about it. Okay, watch. You're standing high ground. You see how the Mei, your team's trying to move, right? Echo's here. Mei's comes up. Mei's on your Echo, right? Echo's in trouble. You see, you're doing nothing right now, okay? They zone, right? They're going after Lucio. Lucio gets killed. They keep pushing. You come in from behind, right? Coalescence gets popped, but realistically, you should probably lose this fight, and you do. And again, you have that panic grasp. It doesn't matter whether or not there's actually anything that you can grasp. You grasp anyway to grasp, and then you die, which is a really, really bad habit. I know you already mentioned that you're working on it, but it is a lot better than the previous video, to be clear. You would very much benefit from a tank guide to Esperanca. watching where you play, I think you would benefit a ton from me making an Esperanca tank guide, because there's no reason the tank should be taking this angle. This is not your job. Just play main, right? Your goal is to stop whoever is in front from walking over your team. That's what you need to be doing right now, not climbing up here, playing off. Like, you're playing like what a DPS would do, right? Or a hog maybe if you're trying to go for a flank. Your goal, again, stop the cart, right? Zone out the Rein, spam the Rein, etc. So this is actually a great off angle to be at. They should never have let you do this. It is very convenient and lucky that you are able to pull this off. Because if I was Rein, I saw you do that, I'm like, cool, I'm just gonna go up and I'm gonna go kill you. Like, what are you gonna do? Like, hidden behind the corner in an off angle where your supports can't help you. I'm gonna win that 1v1. So I think that you end up getting value out of this, but it was not the correct move, in my opinion. So now let's talk about ulti, right? And you're like, hey, when to ulti, when to not use. So the golden rule for ultis is you use ultis to win even fights. You don't use ultis in a one fight, like for example a 5v3. You don't use ultis in a lost fight, for example 3v5, right? So let's think here for a second before you pop this ulti. Do I need to pop ulti here? Well, let's think about how many people we have. It is a 4-on-4, okay? I do have like a really juicy off angle. I'm doing a ton of damage here. I would probably try to save because I'm in such a great position that I'm pretty sure I'm going to kill them anyway without ulti, right? And you see right here, Moira's going to kill the Brig that I damaged, which is great. You did not need Flux here. Granted, it was a 4-on-4, but you did not need Flux here. Now, when you do Flux people, as a general rule for Sigma, as I said like a million times, try not to move close to them because it doesn't help you. Like, this is really silly for you to be moving so close, right? And allow me to get up. Another tip for Bastion. So they're going to come as a Bastion here. For the Bastion, you do not want to flux right away. Your perspective playing tank against Bastion is not, I want to take 0 damage. It's, I want to take enough damage that my team doesn't get shot and the Bastion doesn't gain great value. What do I mean by that? If you grasp right away, the Bastion's like, cool, and then goes and kills your teammates. But if you don't grasp and you run at him attacking, the Bastion's clearly going to shoot you. And then you get up here and you drop to, let's say, 350, 300 health. Then I grasp, and then I stand in his face, and then I deny value. He kind of luckily just decides to keep attacking you anyway, for some reason, because this is Platinum. But you're not always going to be that lucky. And I think that's tough. Is some of the tips I'm going to give you, you'd be like, why should I listen to that? Like, why is that important? I feel like I don't need to do that. Like, for example, when I tell you, hey, don't go the off angle, just play main, you're like, but I went the off angle and it was successful. It's tough because some things will work at your level because people don't know how to play the game, right? But as you start rising, you'll see those bad habits will start being more and more problematic, which is why I'm trying to coach you out of them now. Because going main, like in that situation, would have gotten you less value than going the side off angle, but it was a safer play and a more consistent play, and that's important, right? A lot of climbing is about consistency. All right, staying here and consisting is fine. Again, the problem is I really need to get to a point where it's like, okay, I either need to zone the Rein or I need to kill the backline. Right? If my team is all on the same page about kiting the Rein, actually it's totally fine to stay up here. So I need to keep looking to the left and be like, hey, look, what is my team doing? Do they need me? I recognize right now that the Moira and the Rein are super overextended. So I should drop right now and fight and kill the Moira, right? Attack her, force fade, comes out of fade, rock kill, dead. Right? Then fights 1. So you're doing the right call here, chasing the Moira, great. Right? See, like, their whole team is making a terrible mistake. There's no reason for the Rein to be doing any of this. Like, this is a very, very poor play on the Reinhardt side. Right? Brig comes out of nowhere, she's low. Right, good. Great. So we're rolling right now. Looking good. Again, don't play tight to corners. Right? Playing left side, very dangerous. Left side, if Rein steps forward, it's going to cut you off from your team. You want to play right side. Stay with your team. Rotate back. Again, don't play tight to corners. So you have the right general idea, which is the kite. But the problem is you keep looking to the side. There's nothing there. I don't know what you're looking for. So you should be getting ready to block the shatter. Rein gets shatter every 2 fights, roughly speaking. This is a shatter. Like from this far away, you should block this shatter. I know it's tough to pull that off in mid-plat, but like that's what you should have done to win this fight is to block the shatter and know the shatter is coming. If you don't feel comfortable blocking the shatter, put the shield out early, or first spam the Rein shield as much as you can, then put your shield out early and hope you break Rein shield before your shield breaks. Is the only real option you have. You should have rocked there immediately after you got up to save the Reaper. But rally's popped, right? Beat was used to save you. What's your protected be? Back up. Back the hell up. Alright? They have rally right now, okay? Like, you, like, want to, they have the Brig coming in, she's gonna stun. Just kite here. Again, why are you grasping? You're grasping at almost full health, right? Another panic grasp, which is worse than if you didn't have grasp at all. Like, to be perfectly honest, still, even at this point, I think you would have done better this game if you literally didn't have grasp. I mean, it's close. It's probably about even because you did use it against the Bastion. But like you grasp at times where your team desperately needs you to deal damage right now. Okay, I'm gonna count how many attacks you could have gotten if you didn't grasp. 1, 2, 3, right? So that's 3 attacks, which is 330 damage to this Reinhardt, which would put him critical if you had been attacking him instead of grasping. Now, granted, he might have shielded instead, but having him slow down and not push into you is also value, right? You're dramatically overestimating how the value of grasp compared to the value of attacking people. Obviously, right now you're just gonna get rolled over and die. So this is probably one of your like, should I get out or should I survive? Should I die? Almost always the right decision is to die, especially if you don't have any mobility. Your survival means nothing often. Okay? Just die right here. It's fine. It's fine. Just die. Regroup with your team quickly. This fight's already over. Okay? Your Lucio's dead. Your team is super scattered. Just die right now. Right? Like, I would try to trade out and get a kill, but other than that, I think that this fight's well and truly over. Okay, so once again, you're off-angling this weird spot. I mean, if they're going to let you do it, I guess that's fine. So you lift the only people who really can't die here. Mei shouldn't die. I mean, she used block. Did you know she used block? If you knew she used block, this is good. Okay, you know she used block. Okay, so that's fine. So I think I would have fluxed right there when they started grouping up. Right now. And flux straight down. Right? So I'm getting 3 there at a minimum. But you wait too long, now you pop it, you only get 2. Right? Mei's right call to die, great. I don't know that you needed to drop there. I think it actually would have been easier to stay high ground. But Rein dies, and I think you're going to clean this up. Yeah. So you're in overtime, you need to win. It's something like 2 pushes. Yeah, probably 2 or 3 team fights depending on how eager they are. Not your job to go this way. I would just go down main. A lot can happen while you're going on your little side journey. Right, see? Now the Brig is zoning you. The Brig is single-handedly preventing you from helping your team, right? If you were here right now, you'd be spamming constantly. That Brig kind of slowed you down getting in. You do have an off angle, which is great, but again, I think they easily could have stopped you from doing this. You should be rocking, if anybody, I would rock the Torb right now to prevent him from pooling my team. Now that he's popped Molten Core. You need to stop jumping. I mean, this is all just going to be mechanics, right? Like, can you hit shots? It's doing alright. Great. The problem is, again, Shatter gives your team, like, the enemy team, like, massive value. So let's kind of zoom out from above. Okay, so you've gone into that juicy flank, but Sigma just doesn't do that much damage. You just can't kill people fast enough, and that's like a big problem here. Is that why I like recommend like not trying to go on these weird flanks? Is look at think of it this way. This is like possibly the best possible scenario for you, right? There's 5 people. You're coming to the off angle. Literally nobody attacks you. Nobody blocks you. Nobody tries to stop you in any from doing what you want to do, and you still fail to kill anyone, right? Like no one is dying here. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. It takes 15 seconds to kill your first hero. Like, that's just. Sigma's just not designed to be good at killing. Like, if you're playing like Hog here, yeah, people are dying left and right. If you're playing Winston, the whole team is dying. Okay? If you're playing Doomfist, people are dying. Alright? But as Sigma, you just don't do enough damage, which is why you should switch your role from being this off-angle DPSer and just focus on, hey, look, I have 4 heroes over here, right? I have my Moira, I have my Lucio, I have my Reaper. My Reaper does tons of damage. If I just sit here, right, zone out pool, block Shatter, keep the Rein and the break back, then Reaper can kill everyone. Like, if this doesn't happen, right, you see how the Rein's zoning your Reaper, which is exactly what he needs to do. If this doesn't happen, right, Moira Coalescence is here to keep everyone alive, you win this fight. That's all you gotta do, right? Just play with your team. Right? You're going off on your little flank, and your team is weirdly enough making space for you, but you can't get the kills. And part of it's mechanics, and part of it's just Sigma's just not good at doing that. You just don't do enough damage. Okay. Questions. One ulti usage. We think we talked about that already. Use it to turn even fights, not won fights, not lost fights. 2, I'm interested in some creeping positioning. I talked about positioning a lot. Just play farther from Rein. 3, confused in who to rock. Again, I talked about who to rock, right? Rock people who are too close, or rather, rock people who are pushing into you, who you, when you need to make space. Rock people to cancel abilities. Rock people to get kills. Other than that, don't use rock. Saving rock, perfectly viable. Saving rock gives you more value than you might imagine. Right, beginning game, which direction should I go? I already talked about that. You should go right side. When you're the only one alive after a team fight, do you just suicide yourself to die? Yes. Short answer, yes. Okay, I think that covers everything. So hopefully this is helpful.